Welcome, and thank you for your interest in CFCC certification. This tutorial is to help you to learn how to register for the CFCC examination in our new AMS system. Let's begin. From our website, on the certification landing page, you can scroll down to the certifications offered listing and select CFCC on the website, or you simply can click the Apply Now button. On many of our pages, there are Apply Now buttons, and there are numerous ways that you can reach the application portal. We're going to click the certification CFCC certification button so that you can review what the eligibility requirements are, what the recommended study materials are, the examination structure, and click Apply Now. Once you click the Apply Now button, it will take you to either a login page or straight to your account if you're already logged in. In this case, I'm already logged in as certification candidates, and this is my menu of options. If you're not already logged in, just simply log in and this is what will show. So from this page, we want to click the certification application. This will bring you to the page of the collection for certification applications. There are 8 of them because we have 8 applications for 8 distinct certifications. The sub-collections are the actual name of the certification that you want to apply for. The buttons on the side that say create a new collection is actually how you start your application. So you want to make sure that you're in the right collection, the right sub-collection, before you select the Create New Collection button. For this particular certification tutorial, we are going to show you how to apply for the CFCC application. So once you locate the sub-collection for CFCC, select the Create New Collection button. Once you select that button, it brings you to the actual application. So there's no way to get out of it. Once you select it, you're committed to the application. Doesn't mean that you have to submit it, but you are actually in the application process. Your status is called pending, which means that you're now in a perpetual state of gathering your information to complete your application, which could take from now until you actually decide to submit it. If you do decide that you hit it by accident, there's no way for you to delete it, but you can contact the certification staff and we can delete it for you. So let's begin. On the instructions page, you want to make sure that you read all of the documentation so that you understand what it is that you're committing to or attempting to do. You want to make sure that you can meet the eligibility requirements for this particular examination. You also want to know what you're going to have on hand to actually complete your application, such as your experience, your education, and your letters of recommendation and claim submittal. You will need to upload these documentation items as you go through the application. So you want to make sure that you read all of this very carefully before you move on. The next thing that you want to do is move to your industry-related experience. Once again, there will be documentation to explain to you what is required, what you can and cannot do, and just to give you a little bit of guidance as to how to prepare. Once you've read that and you want to proceed, you want to click the Add button. The Add button will allow you to enter your experience. So you want to make sure that you are entering in all of your experience. If you are currently employed, there is no way for you to leave it open-ended or to say present. You actually have to put the day of your application in order to get the full, for the system actually will calculate it for you. So to make sure that you get all of the years of experience, you can't leave the end date blank. You will need to put the day of your application in there to actually account for all of your experience. If you have more than one employer that you would like to add, you simply can start with the earliest or the latest, but just make sure that you have a start date and an end date and that they all equal to the minimum required for this particular certification. Then you want to enter in any other information such as the employer, I am actually just using some very generic images for the purposes of this tutorial, but you certainly will want to make sure that you have your employer experience. As explained here, it's actually a statement from your employer with dates of service, your title, and the brief description of your duties to upload. And then you click Save. So you will see that it already accounted for 29.9 years of experience based on the parameters that I had entered into the system. If you forget what it is that you actually put in there, or perhaps this actually is a mistake, you simply on this page before you move on can click the pencil button, which is an edit button, and it will allow you to see what you actually entered. So say for instance, this actually needed to be 1999. We can save that, and it reduced it to 17.9 years of experience, which is still enough for this particular certification. If you needed to add more experience, you just simply keep adding the add button, and you will see that these particular experience items will just continue to multiply until you're actually done. So for this particular area, we're good with 17.9 years of experience. So now we need to go to our industry-related education. Once again, reiterating that there will be documentation that you'll need to read before you continue. Make sure that you do that. We want to add the button for our education. This is where we will select either the 4-year degree, which is required, or a postgraduate degree. For this purpose, we'll just do a 4-year degree. We're going to put our graduation date in, the type of degree that we have, where we graduated from, and then of course a copy of your diploma or your transcript. Please note that all of the verification documentation must be in English or have an English translation. So if you have more than one item to add for that, you can either compile it into one PDF and upload it once, or you can click Save and go back and add the same information here, but your documentation will just be different for that particular entry. Once again, it's showing you that you get 1 point, meaning that you've actually provided your 4 years of education experience. Doesn't mean that it's approved. As you'll notice, you're requesting 1, you're allowed to have 1, but the approved points are still 0 because we have not yet reviewed this. So you want to keep that in mind. Here again, if you needed to edit what you actually provided, you can select the pencil, which is the edit button. You also could delete it if you actually thought I didn't do the right thing, and then start over again. The next item that CFCC will ask for is your certification. If you recall, one of the eligibility requirements is that you must have an additional certification after school. So we're going to add our certification. So let's just say that we're actually a professional engineer. These are the only ones that are approved by the actual eligibility requirements for this particular certification. So you can't choose anything or provide anything that is not related to these particular items. So for this, we're just going to say that we're a PE. We're going to put the date that we received it, and then we're going to provide the documentation for it. Once again, I'm using very generic items, and then you click Save. This is actually giving you the points that are allotted for that particular item. As with the others, if you need to review it, you can click the Edit button, and it will allow you to either update or just verify what you have. The next area is the letters of recommendation work products. Of course, you want to make sure that you read the documentation, but this is where you're going to have to add your 4 letters of recommendation and your work product. So we're going to click Add, and remember, you have to have 4 letters of recommendation. So you should be selecting this actually 4 times. So we're going to do our letters of recommendation first by selecting it. The type is it client, a past client, a present client, or an industry professional? So we're going to choose this. We're going to put the date. Remember, it needs to be within the the time frame that is allotted to uh, from attorneys, in-house legal counsel, clients, past or present, anyone that's familiar with your claims relevant experience. It should be within the same time frame that you're using for not necessarily the 24 months, but that it's not something that is fairly old for these letters of recommendation. And so then you actually will then copy your letters of recommendation directly to it, and you'll click Save. Now remember, you have to have 4 letters of recommendation. So if you only selected one and you were to go to your status and review page at the very end, you're going to see that we haven't satisfied all of the requirements. So you want to make sure that you do have just enough information. The system will not allow you to submit it, but it's just as a safeguard. So we need to add 3 more letters and a work product. So let's go through and add all of our letters of recommendation. And I'm just adding very generic dates here just to get through the tutorial so that you can see what needs to happen. And notice we have one here, one here. The points are accumulating from 1 to 2. We're going to do another past. And we're going to add this too. I'm trying to quickly go through this so that you're not just watching me. And as you can see, it's showing that you have 2 letters from a client, a past client, 1 letter from a present client, and then of course 1 from an industry professional. So that does give us the 4 requested points for the letters of recommendation. But you also need to provide a work product. So we have to add 1 more item, and that would be your work product. And you're going to select whether it's an expert report, professional paper, or a formal claim submittal. So we're going to put, for this particular tutorial, a formal claim submittal. And of course, I'm not really adding one, but this is just to get us through the product. So we do have the 5 items, the 5 points for all of them. 2 letters from past clients, 1 from a present, 1 from an industry professional, and a formal claim submittal. So this particular page, even though it is not yet approved, you actually are going to be able to make it through the application process by providing this information. The next step is adhering to the canons of ethics. There is a link which will say to click here to view it. So in case you are you forget or you're unfamiliar with it, it will take you to the canons of ethics on our website. You also can select the yellow button to actually download a PDF version for you to retain and refer back to. But all examination candidates do have to adhere to AACE's canons of ethics in order to sit for the exam, and also in order to receive certification if you are successful in passing. And then you click the Save button. The next item is your profile. You actually can have the opportunity here to edit your profile, meaning your work address or your online information, phone number, whatever it is that you need to do. The reason that this is important is once you check out and you want to pay with a credit card, if you do not have an address on file, it will not allow you to go through. So this is just a way for you to edit it if you need to. If everything is fine, you can bypass this. So the next thing you want to do is you want to go to the status and review page. Now this is going to remind you of what our non-discrimination policy is, our special accommodations policy, should you need some type of arrangements to be made at a testing center. You have to submit your application first, but this is a very important part for you to actually fill out the form so that we can start working on, once we're working on your clearance, to sit for the exam so that we can start making arrangements should that be something that applies to you. You also need to understand the terms and conditions of this application. And then, of course, the summary of all of the requirements. As you noticed earlier in the tutorial, when we tried to only do 1 letters of recommendation, it gave you an X. Once you receive a status with a green check mark and there are no messages, it means that you are able to check out and submit your application. So as long as you receive all green check marks, you are good to proceed. So at this point, since we know that we've provided everything that we needed to provide, not that it's yet been approved, but that it's been provided, let's check out. So once you select checkout, it will give you a subtotal that you need to pay, and you will select your credit card information and provide your credit card information. This is actually just a very generic testing credit card information. As you see, it already fills out your information, and then you click next. And while you're waiting, we're waiting for the system to give us our receipt. If you have any questions, you can always call AACE to help you. So as you can see, it did process it. You can print your receipt, and it's actually now moved your submittal status to staff review. And that simply means that your application and the way that you designed it has been submitted to AACE headquarters staff, and we will review it. And should we have any questions, we will get back to you. If there is any submitted documentation that has not been accepted, or we need more information, you will receive notice of that, and it will tell you exactly what you need to do to actually update the information or provide new information. There is another tutorial titled Need More Information that will tell you what that looks like and what you would do to actually go through that process. Very similar to what you just saw in this tutorial, but that is a way to get you started, and we hope that this has been beneficial to you. If you have any questions, please call us at 304-296-8444 extension 1110 or email us at certification@aacei.org. Thank you.